Hello, Ms. Patty Baker, who is running for the position of Clerk of Courts. I'm Trenton Adams. Welcome to Cherokee County Republican Party candidate interviews. Thank you for taking the time out of your campaign to participate in this interview process. We've extended this invitation to all candidates in this race and sourced questions from the CCRP membership. We have found that it has been an asset for voters in making their decision. The video will appear on the Cherokee County GOP website and will be shared on social media. The interview will be shown unedited in its entirety. For the interview, we will ask you a number of questions but can offer no prompting. There are no right or wrong answers, only your answers. And we ask each candidate the same questions. If this is all right with you, I'll have everyone introduce themselves and then I'll ask Larry to begin asking the questions.
Okay.
Larry Rosinski.
Barry Abrams.
Okay.
What are the duties and responsibilities of the Clerk of Courts?
Basically, the Clerk of Courts, in a nutshell, if I can summarize it first, is basically to be the custodian of all land and court records within the county of its citizens. But then there are many other various duties that come along with that, being the keeper of the record. And my position, I am one of the constitutional officers in the county. There's 4 constitutional officers. And my position was created by our founding forefathers in the Georgia Constitution because my position, I am supposed to be an impartial keeper of the records. I don't work for the county commissioners, that's executive branch of government. I work in the judicial branch of government, but I can't work for the judges because they're there to judge, and I have to keep the files safe. Back in the day, they wanted to safeguard them against any type of corruption, anything like that. So they created my position to be the custodian of the records. There's various other duties that we also do. We record DD-214s for retired military. We do notary commissions. We do, and we do court and land records. That is both part of Superior Court. The elected position is the Clerk of Superior Court. However, I'm also referred to as the Clerk of Courts because I have other additional courts that have been appointed to me. I am also the Clerk of State Court, Juvenile Court, and Magistrate Court. I also am the jury clerk. So if you get pulled for jury duty, my name will be on your invitation or summons, as we call it. And I manage the jury pool, the lists. I have to make sure I bring in just enough jurors for the number of courtrooms that are going, the number of judges, and I do pull in jurors for state and superior court, and also grand jury. I manage that pool as well. There's so many varied duties. The position has expanded. I'm also the administrator over the Board of Equalization now. That occurred a couple years ago. Okay.
Does this position require a law degree?
No. In fact, you cannot practice law while you are in this position. There are a few attorneys that do have, there are a few clerks that do have a law degree, mostly in some of the, well, not even necessarily the larger counties. Very few, maybe 4 out of 159. And I am prohibited from practicing law while I'm working. A county our size, Cherokee County, we are a metro county. What really is required of a metro county is someone with management and administrative experience. I have 60+ employees. Fulton County probably has 200. Gwinnett County has probably 175. When you have that many people and all the different courts that I have, you can't possibly be in each place at the same time. I have to be able to choose, retain, train staff, especially at a supervisory level. My job also takes me out of the office because I work on statewide committees. I'm a part of the Metro Clerks Association. I'm president-elect for the Metro Clerks, and that brings me to meetings in Atlanta. I served on Justice Hugh Thompson's Supreme Court Jury Revision Committee. I served with Ken Shigley, who was the bar president, on an e-filing committee with him. So you really need that management, administrative experience, but you also need finance experience. I deal with a lot of money. We take in, per year, my office takes in about $18 million that we need to take in and then disperse to all the different entities, about 18 different entities throughout throughout the state, throughout the county. And you also have to have some IT experience. You have to understand how a software package works. You have to understand exactly what will happen and move the case through the software.
Tell us about your education and training. Three-part question.
Okay.
What are your qualifications for office? 2, how did you learn the courtroom language? And 3, what makes you the best person for this job?
Well, I'm qualified because I've been doing it for 12 years and it's very successful. We probably have one of the best clerk's office technology-wise. Cherokee County is a showcase county for the clerk's office, so I'd say I'm pretty qualified. My education, I have a master's degree in behavioral psychology. I am also a certified clerk of court through UGA, University of Georgia. I also am a certified court administrator through National Association of Court Management. So, and I'm working on a second master's in court administration. So that's, learn the court language. I knew most of the court language. I just picked it up, I guess. And what I didn't know, I looked it up. And that my clerks, my deputy clerks, they're not attorneys. They don't engage in what goes on in the courtroom. They manage the files. They manage the paper. So, certain terms just come, but they don't need to know it's not a requirement for the job. And what makes me the best person? I'm not afraid to try new things. Cherokee County has been probably the front runner in many things. I was the state pilot for the Georgia State Patrol. They have electronic citations, and we did a pilot project where their citations will automatically generate into my case management system. Their officers don't have to input it into their system, and then my deputy clerks get the paper and then input it again. It automatically gets, it's through a data exchange. You push and pull the information back and forth. And we've been the front runner for that. I have just been selected, I got the call last week, to be the pilot project, myself and Gwinnett, for e-filing to the Court of Appeals. So that was quite an honor. It's quite an honor, and I don't think that they would ask me if they didn't have full confidence in me.
Is this a constitutional office?
Yes, it is.
In Kentucky, a court clerk was jailed after refusing to issue marriage licenses to gay couples. Mm-hmm. Is it acceptable for a clerk to put their personal beliefs over their oath of office?
Well, I don't issue marriage licenses, thank goodness. But no, when you take your oath of office, you know what your duties are. And those are your duties, and that's what you have to do. I did respect her in the fact she now has a deputy clerk do it as opposed to herself, because she doesn't have to physically do it herself. And she has assigned it to a deputy clerk, but I don't blame her for, if she felt so strongly about that, I don't blame her for not personally doing it.
What 4 divisions make up this position? And give an example of what products are handled in each division.
When you say division, do you mean courts, the different courts? I've got state court, I've got superior court, I've got jury management, I've got deeds and records. Or do you mean we've got a civil division, a criminal division, deeds and records? So that makes up the, superior court has its own divisions. Jury management doesn't have its own divisions. That's just jury management. But under superior court, you've got civil, but then civil is broken down. You've got adoptions, you've got domestic issues, and you have land. Land records, condemnations, that sort of thing. State court, you've got civil and criminal, but you only have the misdemeanors. Superior court, you have the felonies. But you do not handle domestic or civil, domestic or any type of land condemnations, anything like that in state court. So it really depends on what, and then in magistrate court, I've got that too. That's dispossessories, there's a lot of divisions in there, so.
Can one obtain legal advice from the clerk of the court's office?
Absolutely not. In fact, we have it posted in my office, you may not. That would be dispensing legal advice, and that would be practicing law without a license, so no, absolutely not.
What do you see as the two most pressing issues you would address if elected? What plans do you have relative to those issues?
My major focus is right now will be on electronic records, on e-filing. I've got the portal, I'm ready to go, but there are steps. I am the custodian of the records, and I don't want anything to go wrong with it. I want it to be just perfect. So that is a major focus on us right now. And then, of course, with electronic records, we also will have then the safekeeping of the electronic records. We've got to keep up our hardware, our servers, or you know, if a server crashes, I've got backups after backups after backups, because these are the citizens' records. These are the land records, these are the court records, and I have to preserve that. We actually preserve history is what we do as well.
What distinguishes you from your primary opponent?
He's never worked in a clerk's office. I don't think he's ever tried a criminal case. He's never managed any employees before. He went straight from law school to his law firm, Bray & Johnson, and all he does is real estate work, as far as I know. And like I said, it is extremely important to be able to manage people. I have 58 women and 2 men. That's not an easy task, and you have to be able to delegate. You're not in your own little cubicle, and you have to be able to be outgoing, get along with people, because you have to get around the state too. You have to network. You have to be able to interact with vendors. You have to be able to deal with all of the other agencies. I deal very closely with the sheriff's office, the county commissioners, the tax office, the solicitor's office, the DA's office. We all work together as a team. And I know he comes from a very small little office. He doesn't have any management experience. The only management experience he mentioned at our debate was he was a camp counselor in high school. Running the clerk of courts is not like running a camp in high school. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Most people that come into the courtroom already have a high level of stress. How will you treat them to help calm their nerves?
Actually, we mostly deal with the public when they come into the office, when they're dealing with their issues. And part of our training and part of our orientation that we tell new staff members is almost everybody that walks into that courthouse comes in unhappy, stressed, something's going on in their life. They're being divorced, someone's divorcing them, they're being sued, someone's suing them, they're coming in for a temporary restraining order. There's not many reasons. Maybe a notary, even to come in for the notary commission, we have it online, but they have to come in to take the oath. They're not happy because they have to take time out from work. So the majority of people aren't happy. They are stressed out, and we tell the employees this could be somebody's mother. It could be their son, their daughter that's in jail that they're trying to get information on. So they may still be unhappy when they leave, but we don't want them to be unhappy with the service they received from the clerk's office. I come from a background of the hospitality industry, and that is extremely serving the public, and that's exactly what we do. And my staff, they are very compassionate, and they do realize they don't judge people. If someone comes in because they're out on bond and they're coming in to get a copy of part of their case or for some reason, they know they treat that person with the same amount of respect that they treat someone coming in for notary or just some copies. We'll get people walking in our office for a marriage license, even though we don't issue them. They think we do, so we'll send them to the appropriate place.
What can you do for Cherokee County Court that other candidates can't?
can I do? I have connections around the state right now. Former bar president, Ken Shigley, is a good friend of mine. I have connections around the state. I get along extremely well, and I am one of the clerks in the state that do cross different organizations. I get along extremely well with the AOC, Automated Office of the Courts. I go down to visit them sometimes in Atlanta. They're a great resource for me. That they basically support the judges, and they are close friends, close allies of mine, and that basically I get along with our county commissioners. I get along with our legislators. Everything I do is dictated by statute. Everything I do. So we have to keep up on legislation every year because, as you probably know, a legislator will change something and it'll have a trickle effect. So we have to keep up on it, and I know our legislators. They'll contact me, or I feel free to contact them if I say, hey, you know, this is going to happen if you do this, or this is going to happen if you do this. Every one of my duties is in statute.
Where can I go to find a listing of local attorneys?
I have it. We have a list of the Bar Association attorneys.
How much does the position pay?
The position is dictated by statute. It goes according to population, and then you get supplements for each court. And that is public record, and it's in statute.
Why do you want to be a court clerk?
Why do I? Because I am and I like it. I enjoy my job. I wake up every day and I enjoy going to work. I have taken probably 3 sick days in 12 years, and you can verify this with my staff. We plan family vacations and stuff, but I am rarely out, because I just love my job.
What is the GSCCCA?
The Georgia Superior Court Clerks Cooperative Authority.
In what ways, generally speaking, have you been involved in cost-cutting measures?
Probably, not probably, the largest cost-cutting measure that I was involved in was after my first year. I wanted to get in for the first year. I brought in new software. I brought in a lot of technology, and I wanted to evaluate the situation. And then I noticed that because all of our deed books are online, thanks to the GSCCCA, and we didn't have many people coming into the deed room actually pulling up a physical book and opening it. Those books, at the height of the building year, cost the county $100,000 per year in Cherokee County. We were going through 4 books a day. We had to print hardbound, paperback books. We had to send it out, bring it back, $100,000. We went back about 5 years because I wanted to know just how much it was costing. The least amount it cost was $60,000. The most it was $100,000. And so after the first year, I said, we're going to do away with books. Cobb didn't have books anymore. Gwinnett didn't have books anymore. And I didn't just take it lightly. I went to the other counties. I said, how did your title abstractors, how did the attorneys react? They said, well, I remember Jay Stevenson in Cobb County said to me, Patty, don't say anything. He said, they won't notice because they're not using the books. They're going online. And I didn't. I went bookless. It was 1 year before one person said, hey, you're getting behind on printing those books. I said, no, we're not doing books anymore. And it saved the county for over the 11 years, if you anywhere between 60 and 100. Now, I know the building did a couple years ago drop, so probably maybe 40. But that's huge savings. That's not the only way, but yet you wanted to know the most significant savings, and that would be it.
Would you try to implement any other cost-cutting techniques into your court system to help taxpayers save money?
I am right now. I can't wait. I'm chomping at the bit to start this e-filing to do away with paper. Right now, we have paper files. We have to buy the files. We have to buy the paper. There's so many costs associated. The filing system, the storage, reproducing, there's a lot of money involved in the paper. Not only that, the staff's time. They have to haul the files up to the courtroom. every one of my staff members have a computer, they have a scanner, they have one in the courtroom, at their desk in the courtroom. The judge has access to my case management system in the courtroom, but for some reason they just, and it's not just the judges, it's everyone, even some of the attorneys have said, I'm getting really nervous about this not having that paper file. I'm actually holding a class for the local bar association on the 13th of May, and we're having the vendor come, they're gonna explain it, do a PowerPoint presentation, exactly what the process will be. That will save so much money. Right now I have a system called File Trail on my files. It's like LoJack. There's a bar inside each folder that if that file gets misplaced, it's called a color bar system. It's like in a medical office. You see the different colors. Well, it's not uncommon to file it in the wrong year, the right file number, the right month, the right day, just the wrong year. So, or just, human error. Someone misfile it. It's like a gun, and they scan it across the file, and it'll beep when it hits that file. And we've always found a file through that. We even found one through a judge's wall. He had it in his office next door to where my clerk was with the gun, and it started going off, and she went to the wall, and it went off. But we wouldn't have to pay yearly maintenance on that product. So it just, that is one of the ways that it will save taxpayers money. And there's other ways too, using technology.
Are you currently a member of the Cherokee County Republican Party?
I am a member of the Cherokee County Women's Republican Party. In fact, I am extremely active in that party. I have gone back and forth between the regular party and the Women's Party, and the reason being is I used to live in South Cherokee, and the Republican Party was doing their breakfasts down there. I moved to almost Pickens County on the Cherokee line. The Women's Party does their functions, their meetings in Canton. It's closer to home, and it's right after work. Saturday breakfasts are dedicated to my family. So I spend the weekends with my family. The regular party used to do I believe it was a Thursday night informational session. They used to bring in speakers, do it in the jury assembly room. So I'd walk across the hall from my office, and it was right there. But when they started doing the breakfasts down in Woodstock, it just was not, a 40-minute drive for an hour breakfast wasn't convenient.
We would like our elected Republican leaders to help us grow the party. Please briefly describe any significant efforts you have made in the past to support the Republican Party and/or Republican candidates locally, statewide, or nationally.
I have supported candidates statewide. I was Casey Cagle's chairman in Cherokee County when he ran for lieutenant governor, along with Roger Garrison. We co-chaired that for Cherokee. I've also helped out numerous other candidates. I am a graduate of Coverdell Leadership, now known as Republican Leadership of Georgia, class of 2006 vice president. So I was extremely active with the party at that time. I helped the Republican Party organize a gala one year with Pat Wallace when the Wallaces were very involved in the regular party. So we organized a ball, and so I have been, since even prior to being clerk, I was a member of the party.
Have you ever been arrested or convicted of a crime excluding traffic offenses?
No, I could not sit in this position if I were.
And have you ever been the subject of professional discipline or cited for breach of ethics or unprofessional conduct by any disciplinary committee, court, administrative agency, or other professional group?
No, absolutely not.
Thank you very much for doing this with us today.
Okay, sure.
Is there anything else you'd like to say for those watching?
Well, I'd like to just say that I ran for this position 12 years ago. I made promises to the citizens, and I can adamantly state that I kept each and every promise that I made. In fact, I went beyond that. I actually did more than I ever thought. I had no idea technology could take us where it is today. And I just, I'm not done yet, and I want to keep serving the citizens of Cherokee County. I love what I do, love my job, and hopefully the citizens of the county know me. I have a proven record, and I just would like to ask for your vote May 24th.
Thank you.